6 years. 6 years. We have been doing this podcast for 6 years. Welcome to Real Life with Jenny. My name's Jenny Senaparatna, and I cannot even believe that we're talking 6 years, guys. Get your favorite snack, get yourself a drink. Like, I don't even remember what I'm supposed to talk about here. Like, all of a sudden, people that I listen to this every week are going, she's gone off the rails. What is going on? This is uncomfortable. So today I have peach Earl Grey. I had orange Earl Grey at our first podcast that I ever drank tea, and my orange is out, and I'm not going back to Sri Lanka either, but I'm not going back to Japan, and this is where it's from. And I have my cheese stick. I had that the very first episode, and I'm still eating my cheese sticks. So let's get real. 6 years, guys. Like, this has been such an incredible journey, and I say thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This whole podcast is not going to be about thanking you, but you know what? God has been so faithful. We have been downloaded in 114 countries around the world. I will never visit 114 countries. I do not have the time. Would I love to? Yeah, some of them on my list, though, I'm good. I'm good. They're kind of scary places. But this podcast has gone to places that the gospel is not legally allowed to be there. And this podcast has been downloaded. And I am so grateful for that. And I just want to say thank you for continuing to listen, for sharing this, all those things. Every time you comment, every time you subscribe, every time you like, that spreads this further and further. And so you have been a huge help, and I just want to thank you for that. I'm so grateful. I also just want to say, holy cow, I'm still doing this. I remember when I started this, I was like, I'm going to give it 2 to 3 months. Like, that's what I'm doing. And then I'm going to get a real job. That was my plan, because I had just gotten laid off. I wanted to kind of talk about what was happening and let everybody know what was happening in my life and walk through it with me. And then I was like, I'm going to get a real job then. And here I am, still volunteering for Christ Connection, which is our ministry, and, doing this. Anytime that I just kind of want to clarify something. I feel like really random right now, and I'm sorry. Like, I'll get somewhere, I promise. I don't know if I will. I promise, but I may not do it. I'm so sorry, guys. I have been talking about Buy Me a Coffee for a long time, and people are a little confused by it. Okay, so I just want to clarify what buymeacoffee.com/reallifewithjenny is. All the money that goes into that goes straight back into our ministry. It does not come to me. I'm not buying coffee with it. I'm not going out and living up the wildlife. I mean, maybe I am. No, I'm not. It's not happening. But all that money goes right back in, and it goes right back out to make sure that this podcast is getting into the areas that God wants it to get into. And so it is just incredibly humbling that you've been along on the journey with me financially, and by listening and subscribing and making comments, and all those kind of things have been so huge for me. And I could not go an episode without saying, wow, thank you. I am beyond humbled. And when you comment and you're like, hey, Jen, I cannot believe you're walking through the exact same thing I am. Or, hey, that was crazy, and you comment and you let me know what's going on in your life. Those kind of comments make my day. They just are absolutely the reason I get up the next morning and go, I can do this again. So keep letting me know how your life is going. I want to be on the journey with you, because you know what? It is crazy out there. This is a world of me. And I really feel like I want you to know that you have someone that has your back, and someone that if you have something going on, I am praying with you. In fact, this morning I've texted 3 different people and been like, I'm praying for you this morning because God put you on my heart, and I don't know what's going on in your life. I have no idea, but I am praying with you and saying, God, you're sovereign. You've got this. Now, when I started this podcast, I had no idea that I'd be doing it this long, first of all. But most podcasts only make it to 20 episodes. 75% of podcasts that are started make it to less than 20 episodes, and then they stop. And I'm like, okay, well, there we are. I guess I'm a little bit past 20 episodes. A little bit. But it is incredible to me that God has opened doors because of this podcast. I just cannot even, it blows me away. Because here I am acting like a buffoon, either through the interwebs or on a camera or wherever you're listening or watching. And this thing has opened doors. I have been able to speak at women's events. I've been able to do pastors' wives events. I've been able to do seniors events. I've preached at churches. God has been so faithful to open doors. And it is not me. I know that no one's like, well, Jenny's spectacular. We should bring her in. I know that's not the truth. I know that people just want to know who God is. And they want to know his authentic love for you. And that is my heart, is that you know that God has got your back no matter where you are going or what you're doing or how it feels. He is there. And I remember this week actually has been a really rough week for us. Not because of this, but my daughter moved home. So we've gone from empty nesters to nest is full again. That's what happens when you have one kid. You go empty nest, nest is full. Empty nest, nest is full. It is a very weird thing. If I panned around the room in front of me right now, which I'm having a hard time looking at you because there's so much stuff all around me because we brought her home yesterday and all of her college stuff is still here. And that's okay. It's going to take time to find a home for it in my itty bitty home, but that's okay. And we're going to figure it out. But this week, my husband and I were sitting in the living room and we were talking. And both of us at one point had tears streaming down our face, going, Lord, where are you? Do you see what's going on? This is overwhelming. We don't know where to go from here. We need you, Lord. And I'm telling you, I know what that feels like. I know what it feels like to go, Lord, where are you? Do you see this? This is not acceptable. Of course, you know what I mean? Lord, this is crazy. I can't even explain to people what's happening because it's so wild. And you're just going, Lord, I don't know what you have for us right now. I mean, we're making our next steps, right? That's all we can do. And we're both, okay, my husband's already 50. Shh, I didn't tell you that. I am not quite 50 yet. I refuse to turn 50 until the moment it happens. And then it might not happen for a couple years. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to stay 49 for a couple years. I haven't fully embraced the 50 thing, and I don't need to for a smidge. But that means that you have to change life a little bit. Last year, we spoke at over 70 places in a year, and that was rough. I'm going to be honest, it was a blessing, it was fabulous, but it was rough. And I'm like, we can't continue to go at that pace and do all the other things that God has called us to do. Because we do a lot on social media, we do a lot with people person to person. I'm actually doing pastors' wives retreats right now, which I had this huge vision for. I was like, this is going to be amazing. I'm going to have 100 people at a time and it's going to be this whole thing. And God was like, nope, we're going to do 10. We're going to do under 10. I'm going to show, and it has been phenomenal. Getting 10 women who are all in ministry, whether it's women in ministry or pastors' wives, getting them in a room and ministering to them and just letting them laugh and giggle and cry together. In fact, I just did one last week, and I'm telling you, there was laughter, there were tears, there was what is happening here moments because God showed up. And the connections happened, and that is exactly why I wanted these to happen. And God was like, you can't do anything grand, Jenny. You have to do something small, one meeting at a time. And that's humbling. Because you know what? In our culture, we want big and splashy. That's what we want. We want big, splashy, and that is not necessarily what God calls us to. God sometimes calls us to the small, intimate moments that are life-changing. And it's not easy because people are like, oh, well, that was an interesting way to spend your time. not that anyone would necessarily say that, but it doesn't get all of the, I don't know, fanfare that's a big, huge event. You know how they have these huge conferences and thousands of people show up and hundreds are saved. And you know what? Kudos. That is amazing stuff. But a lot of us are in the trenches with 10 people. We are walking through life with less than 10 people, and we are making a difference in those 10 people's lives. Some of you have better bandwidth and you're like 30, 40 people. Like, you know, that's great. Not a lot of us will ever be in a stadium of over 1,000 people doing things like that. But that does not take away from your value. That does not take away from the ability to make a difference. That has been something that I've learned with this podcast, that my numbers do not matter. Do I have good numbers? I'm sure I do. But they do not matter. It is the individual that reaches out and says, Jenny, I heard your podcast and I'm walking through the exact same thing. Will you pray with me? I don't care. I don't care if I had 1 million people listen to that podcast, which honestly is not happening, but that's okay. That one person is valuable. And I think that is what makes Real Life with Jenny special. Because I'm not ever about how many numbers I have and how many downloads. And yeah, the countries are great, because that is people to me. It's not a country, it's a person that has heard that Jesus loves them and that he's not going to give up on you and he's going to go after you and that you matter. That's what this is all about. And when I started this, that's not what this was about. I mean, it was, but I have honed in to that. I remember a couple months ago, I did another Pastor's Wives retreat. And I just do a day. It's a couple hours. We do a craft, we do a game, we do something. We just sit around, we have food, and we chat. And it is just a time of connection and refreshment. It is nothing profound, but it is. It's very profound. And I will take my 10 ladies or less in a heartbeat over 100 that are like, I'm here for something other than the connection. And God was like, I want you to focus on the small. And I was like, God, I don't want to focus on small. I want to, I don't need my name in lights is that song, right? Like, I don't need my name in lights. I'm famous in my Father's eyes, but it'd be kind of nice if like anyone knew my name, like just one person knew my name, right? And I know that you feel that. I know that we can go along life without ever feeling like anyone knows your name. You can be in a crowded room and feel completely alone. And I'm telling you, that one person matters, and it's you. You matter to God. You matter to me. You matter to the people around you. You really do. And I want you to know that your story is important. The amount of people that have come up to me and said, I want to do a podcast. What should I do? And we've had a long conversation about it, and none of them have done it. And I'm telling you, go after what God tells you to do. Not necessarily a podcast, but I mean, maybe, I don't know. I don't know what God has for you. But you don't have to be big and splashy to make a difference. You can go out to coffee with someone and sit down and just listen to their story and hear their heart. And that makes a difference. You don't need to be in a conference room with all the movers and shakers and be like, these people are all super important to make a difference. You know, they make a big difference in a different way. And I have learned that, and I'm continuing to learn that. Because you know what? People think that life is glamorous when you are a traveling speaker. It is not. If you've listened to this podcast, you know it's not. It's not glamorous. We do not make a ton of money. We really don't. And that's never what it's about. We don't go to churches that give us huge paychecks. We go to churches that pay for gas. Those are the kind of churches we go to, because you know what? One person makes a difference. And one church makes a difference. And if that pastor can feel encouraged and loved and can go out and they reach 10 more people, that's what it's all about. and those people reach 10 more people. And I just want to encourage you that if you're feeling small and insignificant, look at this podcast and realize that small and insignificant can still be used by God. And small and insignificant are sometimes where God calls you to, and it is humbling and it is sometimes really hard. And there have been days I've wanted to give up because I have looked at the number and gone, I did how much work? Okay, that was a couple years ago when my numbers had kind of dipped. And I was like, maybe I need to give this up. I was about 3 years in, and I was like, my numbers are not doing well. And now my numbers have gone back up and things have gone better. But I remember in that season, God going, your voice still matters. You need to keep going. You need to keep saying that God's got a plan. You need to keep saying that God sees you. You need to keep saying those things to the people in your life. And so if you feel like you're looking at the person down the road and you're like, wow, they really have everything. Like they have the big house, they have a retirement plan, they've got all the kids, they have a huge church. Like they just seem like, oh my goodness. I want you to know that what you're doing matters. What you are doing matters. I live in the Twin Cities, and there are a lot of big churches here. There are a lot of big churches. And there are a lot of small churches. And those small churches are just as impactful and as important as the big churches are. So never let your size matter to anyone, especially yourself. Because I may not be flashy, I may not be, hitting the big charts, but I know that God is using this every single day, and He will continue to use you too. Well, that's all I have as we celebrate 6 years. I got a little dark, but there we are. We're okay. You can follow me on Real Life with Jenny on Instagram and on Facebook. You can also do this on YouTube. Really subscribe, like, rate. All those things make such a difference. And that is the reason we've gone into so many countries, is because of your actions, and I appreciate you. You can go and support buymeacoffee.com/reallifewithjenny. I'm trying to think of what it was. That's all in the bio. You can go and buy snacks on Amazon, and that all comes back. Like, all the things make such a big difference because it all goes right back into the podcast. Like I said, I'm a volunteer. My husband's the one that gets the big bucks. Okay, if you saw the video, there's no big bucks, but he's the one that's paid. I'm a volunteer. I'm the chauffeur. I'm the person that gets the hotels, and I'm the one that does the podcast. So, and whatever else God calls me to do. And I'm just really grateful for that. So do not look down on yourself because maybe what you're doing is a little bit smaller than you thought it would be, because God's using you. God's using you to make a difference in people's lives, one person, one day, one moment at a time. You all have a great week.